Alright, part two. Literally just did part 1.2 seconds ago. What originally drew you to bodybuilding? Classic physique. In specific, nothing has drawn me to classic physique whatsoever. People assume that I'm into classic because I won the Golden Aesthetics Physical Culture Contest, which is based off of what Artemis likes and wants to. That's what he likes. He likes the old school classic. He likes what he likes, and I do as well, but I'm not trying to be anything that I'm not. I like bodybuilding. People say I'm a classic, so I'll run with it. I have wide hips. That could make me classic. I can hit classical poses, more aesthetic, artistic sculpture poses, but I don't practice those as much, and definitely not as much as I should. So nothing has drawn me specifically to that, but I do like the classic physique competitors. They look awesome. How old are you and what's your ultimate goal in 3 years? I'm 27 years old. My ultimate goal in 3 years is to be further ahead than I am now, which may not be specific enough for a lot of people. Some people say I'm going to be here, but for a fact, I will not be working construction. I will be working on my own, and I will be self-employed for a fact. And y'all will know me. Y'all will know my name in the fitness industry. Any tips for naturally skinny guys trying to gain overall size? Ways to get enough calories without eating like crap. You gotta eat, and Hunter Dupe, you gotta eat, man. Only you know how much you're truly eating, but I've heard too many people say, I'm eating a lot, man. I'm eating 5 meals a day, like 6 ounces of chicken, this carbs. Man, the thing is you can't just shove all this food down your throat and expect your body to just react the way you want. You have to slowly taper up. At the beginning of this prep, I weighed like 188 pounds, right? I couldn't even do 4 meals a day. A couple weeks ago, 8 meals a day, probably 200 grams of carbs per meal, starving. 20 pounds up in muscle, however much fat gone. You have to slowly introduce yourself. Just like if you're an alcohol, if you drink alcohol, you can't just slam down a case of 12-pack of beer or a bottle of whiskey. If you wanted to slowly be able to work up your tolerance over time, you do little bits at a time, right? Then you build your tolerance. That's what you do with food. You need to weigh your food out so that you can get a baseline on what you have been eating and what you need to do to change things. Now, I wouldn't worry so much about proteins, fats, and carbs, like the number itself, but based maybe on the scale. Like I'm eating 1 cup or 200 grams of white rice this week, I'm gonna bump it up to 225, 250, so on and so forth, and you can adjust your fats that way as well. Do you give credit to heavyweights for giving you your size and shape? Yeah, it's like I don't know, because I only have one life and one body. If I had 2 bodies and I did lightweights on this body and heavyweights on this body and I could compare, then yeah, I'd be able to give you a more definite answer, but I'm not 100% sure. In high school, we lifted weights. Now, I thought I was strong, right? 185 pounds. I power cleaned like 305. It was a clean squat or whatever, front squat type thing. I couldn't get it up because my squat sucked. I was weak on that. But I did strength training. Probably 4 years ago, I did 585 or 5 plates or something, like 5 or 6 times with ease. I've done 600-pound deadlifts for reps. But if I stop doing that, just within a week, my strength goes down, and I've noticed that I don't need to do that. I don't need to, nor do I care anymore about strength. Now, you want to push the limits on the weights a little bit. You have to. You can't be lifting lightweight your whole entire life. You got to move it up. But I don't ego lift or care about the weight itself, right? So, your favorite biceps exercise? To be honest, my biceps are small. Genetically, for me, they're small. But I've noticed that some people, like my forearms are honestly, like when I flex, my forearms, me and my friend Logan Guthrie, we have the same problem. Our forearms are, no lie, bigger than our whole entire upper arm. Some people have high peaks, kind of like Kai Green, and then some people don't have high peaks like Phil Heath. But Phil Heath has humongous forearms. Kai not so much. So I almost feel like the peak and the shape of your biceps determine, how big your arm can get or at least how it looks. So with people like mine who have more of a longer, elongated head, hammers. I like hammers. That's what gets them big. Those are my favorite exercises. F asking a question. We look like some effing beasts in that photo. Do some training videos, techniques, routines, diets, etc. I'd like to do that. I think that'd be fun. How do you overcome sweet tooth? I can't really say this prep that I've had one. Mentally, I've been there. I've done one prep before this 3 years ago. I cheated a fair amount. 2 weeks out, 1 week out, eating whole pizzas, going to Golden Corral. I didn't know the mental strength that it took, but now I do. So I don't have a sweet tooth per se, although this past week, physically, I have not been feeling well. So I've been feeling sorry for myself and not feeling healthy. So I am looking forward to some good food. But other than that, not so much, but it's a mental game. You tell yourself, this is what I want, this is how I feel, but it doesn't matter how I feel. This is where I'm going and this is what it takes. It's not comfortable, and you don't have to be pain-free through the process. You just have to overcome these thoughts and these feelings to reach the goals that you want to reach. Okay, done with that one. I'm really mad, like, a little better here. Here we go. Let's get up and close and personal. Tips for tall people, especially with long limbs. Tips for tall people. Well, you know what's funny? People think that I'm tall. I'm not. I'm 5'8". I have very long arms. If you see me with my arms down here, my arms go past my freaking knees, basically. Very long arms, very long legs. So it gives that illusion that I'm tall. I don't have any tips for you except for maybe cut them off, saw some of them off and sew them back on shorter. No, but seriously, just, I don't know, man, grow more muscle. I know it's harder for taller people. Who or what is your motivation to keep training? My damn self, dadgummit, dadgum. Because I see and know where I want to be, and it's only up to me. Only up to me. I look up to certain physiques. I say, that's a nice physique. I like that. He looks good. But I don't want to be anyone else. I would like some people's waists, for sure. What is the best exercise for vastus lateralis? I like lat pull downs, but to be honest, I don't think there's a specific pull exercise that necessarily specifically hits them, because I've seen where lat pull downs work very, very, very well. But I've also seen where more of the like T-bar rows, more of the pulls this way, I forgot what they're called, those work well. It's all about mind to muscle connection. You have to feel what you're pulling with. Now with a lot of pull exercises like using your back, your biceps will overpower these things, so you really have to try and isolate them and not use your biceps, and try and really pull and squeeze on the certain area on your back that you're trying to squeeze. Now if you have a partner, have them touch those areas. When they touch those areas, it really gets your mind and your muscle to activate wherever that skin is being touched. And there's some science behind that, actually. Are you more of a workout by yourself type of person or having a partner? Yeah, and I think it all depends where I am mentally and physically. I don't need anyone. Like with my music I listen to, my thoughts, dude, I need no motivation. If anything, I need something to calm me down. But this prep's been so long, nothing really motivates me. Now I have my friend Trey that I train with. He's strong. His workouts can be crazy, and sometimes it motivates me and pushes me. Sometimes I'm like, yo, dude, chill out. I don't want to do this, bro. So, who do you think you are? Bro, you know who you think I am, and I know who I think I am, so why are you even asking these questions on who I am? I want to know what you do to keep yourself motivated during prep, during off season. Well, during off season, I'm not motivated. That's why I'm fat. I'm only gonna call this my real prep, right? Because it's been about 5 months, been doing good. I've never had an off season. And that's why this prep's been so hard, because I've gone from 185 freaking pounds to 220 pounds. And then, so I'm gaining all this muscle, losing all this fat at the same time. My body's been at this for a really long time, and I don't think it's healthy to be at it for that long, putting your body through that much of a roller coaster. Motivating during prep, You just got to get yourself in this. You got to get yourself in this little system where you're in the groove. Once you're in the groove, you're there. You're gonna have your struggles that come along the way, and it's gonna be really hard mentally. But not only mentally, physically, because people say mental. Yeah, well, when your body physically doesn't have the things that it needs, like, your body is a physical being. We're not made up of just thoughts. Like our brains, yes, our brain's mental, but there's physical matter in there, and there's chemicals. And if that's imbalanced, you're gonna feel pretty dang crappy. If you could only do 3 major lifts for each muscle group for the rest of your life, what would it be? Squats, because that's going to activate, depending on how you put your foot placement, rep range, all that. You can modify and hit different parts on your legs, but you're going to hit your glutes, your hamstrings, and your quads. And then I'm sure if you wanted at the top of the movement, do a little calf raise. So that's all your legs right there. For chest, I do dumbbells, either flies or presses, or maybe a modification of both if your question would allow that. Shoulders, sides, fronts, backs. That's all you need. Back, I'd say maybe some T-bar rows or lat pull downs, like pull-ups. What body part was a weak point? How did you overcome it? My back is weak, and I have not yet overcome it, but I will. Now my back can be wide. I can make it wide. I can make it look wide based on my poses that I hit. Thickness, it's not there. My middle traps, anyone who sees my back shots, it's not impressive by any means. Now a lot of that can have to do with how I'm posing, and my back is so tight because I've had years and years of muscle building up and just sitting underneath new tissue, not getting broken down properly. So my back, for sure, it's there. The structure is there to be a great back, but it's not thick. My traps, my mid traps, even maybe my lats. And then of course like my biceps, but that's not something I'm really worried about. That doesn't win shows, biceps. My chest kind of sucks, but I can make it look big. That's not too much of a worry. Back shots, that's going to determine a lot when it comes to these shows. Well, daggum, I think I got just one more left, man. We're going to make this just a 2 video thing. 30 minutes, that's a lot. How do people do this? Okay, what party part? Biggest inspiration that got you started in bodybuilding? Ronnie Coleman. He is the king. Ronnie Coleman. Enough said. Any advice for ectomorph body type hard gainer? I'd have to see what you're truly eating, how you're lifting, what your lifestyle is truly like, because a lot of people think they're a certain way and they're not. You're probably not slamming as much food as you think. What ethnicity are you? Gringo. I'm white, to be honest. Yeah, I'm white. What are your keys to longevity in the fitness industry? Don't ego lift. Don't lift as heavy as you can. Take time off when you need it. I don't believe in overtraining, but if you want to rest, go rest. I weighed like 230 pounds last year, got down like 185 because I stopped eating, stopped lifting, and I've gained the majority of all that muscle back because of muscle memory. So once you build it, it's a little bit easier for you to get it back. Take time off, it's okay. Live life, go hard, but if you need a break, go take a break. It's okay. Rest if your body needs it, and only you know if your body needs it. What are you running? I'm running. Okay, I got one more question left. How long are these videos supposed to? Okay. How to deal with a heartbreak? Ooh, that's a good one. I'm like Dr. Phil. I'm Dr. Trevor. Depends how you are as a person, how you've been, and or how you have grown, what you've been through. I've been in, let's just say 3 legit relationships, right? My son's mom, that was probably one of the toughest ones because it was my son's mom. You know, I had a kid with her. You know, the first person I ever, and but that breakup led me to become a better Christian, seek new goals, get out of my own. So that happened how it was supposed to happen, but that was hard because I had to think, man, I have a kid with this person. I gotta deal with this for the rest of my life. Good thing, you know, we're cool now. Then I dated some crazy chick, you know, just toxic. That was really bad as well. And then, you know, not recently, but then the last relationship I was in, that was the best one I've ever been in, to be 100% honest. I'm not one of these people who are like, oh, I don't want to talk about this, screw this person, it's over. But the last relationship that I was in was the best relationship that I've ever been in, but the easiest one, easiest breakup. And I couldn't even tell you why we broke up, to be 100% honest. To this day, I don't necessarily, but no. We had different love languages. So I'm very touchy-feely. I'm very vocal. I love you. You know, you mean so much to me. Like, words of affirmation, that's my love language. Hers, I'm not even sure. She might have felt it, but didn't say it enough, so I didn't feel appreciated or loved. I'm like, you know, if you're not going to express yourself to me, then who is, you know? But about dealing with breakups, you have to find a goal. You have to get your mind off of these women, no matter if you were married, if you were in love, what the case was. Everyone has been through it and everyone has gone through it. You can get through it and you will. Find a goal, get your mind focused on something else, and ignore these women. Okay? As a man, you need to go your own way and do your own thing. The right woman will come with you and be on the path with you. They will not pull you aside, whether they think that they want to pull you off of your goals or not. A woman will try to do that intentionally and unintentionally. You keep going, and if a woman respects you and loves you, she will follow you. You say, hey, I love you, baby, but this is my way and this is where I'm going. That's my goal and that's where I will be. So you're going to either support me and come with me on this way, on my journey, and be a part of this, or not. But either way, that's where I'm going, right over there. So you make up your decision on that one. So find something to get your mind off of it. Only you knew that. I wouldn't drink alcohol. That makes things worse. Personally, I know people who use marijuana. It relaxes them and kind of makes them realize, yo, I'm freaking out over something kind of small and insignificant in the grand scheme of things. Working out, listening to music, praying to God, telling him, asking him for his will in your life to show you a way and to get you, you know, through this. I can say that last relationship that I went through, God gave me a peace about it that I've never had in my entire life. So we're going to end on that. This is a freaking long video, and I hope y'all have enjoyed it. My next videos, I'm going to do a little bit better at editing and certain things like that, so we can make this a little shorter so you guys can watch it, get the point, and that's it. Aight, peace, cuh.